Hi, my name is Mel Megan, and this is my boy Sasha, aka the little mini man, and we are going to be talking to you about the Self-Determined Reptiles and Amphibians project. So what is so great about the Reptiles and Amphibians Self-Determined project? Well, you get to determine the project, you get to make it specific to what you want to learn about, you get to set goals. My little man ain't doing too hot over here, he wants to go back in his tank. And then you get to record the activities. So you essentially get to make a project entirely from scratch. Now, would I recommend a first-year 4-H'er do this? No. Because if you do not have any experience with a project before, it's going to be very hard to make one essentially from the ground up. And with the Self-Determined project, I also ran into some issues with writer's block, if you will, because with these sorts of projects, you come up with the material yourself. You pick a interest relating to the topic, you do the activities, and you come up with little learning curves that you go down. But with that too, one of the best parts also about these is that you learn from experience rather from set checkpoints. So there are generally 3 types of learning experiences you get from these projects. You get hands-on learning activities. So as you saw back there, you saw my gecko, and he was one of the main hands-on activities I got to do with my project. Considering my project in particular was about the care and maintenance of all 3 of my geckos, all 3 of which are different species and require vastly different care from each other. The second is organizing your project and making it ready for judging and demonstrations, which can also be difficult depending on what exactly you're doing, but it's equally as rewarding. And leadership and service activities. So find a thing that could relate to being a leadership or service activity for reptiles and amphibians. And mine was based off of health and correct husbandry and what can go wrong if you don't do that. With reptiles specifically, a lot of people get the wrong idea about what their care is. Like, a common myth is the reptile will only grow as big as the enclosure, which is partially true. Your reptile will get extremely growth stunted and have severe health issues if you keep it in a very small enclosure because you think it's going to stop growing. Turtles can get to the size of dinner plates, kids. They don't stay that cute and small forever. So, especially with this project, I got to learn a lot about not only the things I own, but other domesticated, quote-unquote domesticated reptiles that you can own. And I got to learn a lot of common myths and misconceptions about their care, which was very eye-opening considering I didn't think a lot of these things were as widespread as they were. So this project, in and of itself, was a very big eye-opener for me. And not only did it help me take care of my little dudes better, it helped me have sort of an outlet to share what I learned with others, which is probably the second best part about Self-Determined projects. You get to share everything you learned with your judge or with other people. And that was probably one of the most fulfilling parts I had from the project. Once again, would I recommend a first-year 4-H member take this? Absolutely not. These projects are, as I said, somewhat difficult, especially when you are working from the ground up, making your activities and designing a project around a special interest of yours. But if you know what you're doing and you know how the project books are set up and what exactly you need to accomplish, then I can almost guarantee you that it's going to be not as hard as you initially might think just looking at the blank book. So I hope all of you got to learn something insightful from this video. I know I did, especially from this project. So, hope this was helpful.